little tin can lights. We like them! Candles out. My name is Bill Morris.
Ow!
We are here for Karel Blakeley's. Okay. When you leave a program or a department or a project or something that you've worked on for a long time, right? What do you want?
Respect!
You want the thing to go on. And you want the thing to continue. And you want it to even get better. So I'm going to speak for Karel. I know he shares the same thing. And I just want to introduce you quickly, right, to the faculty and staff who are running this joint now, and who, in my view, are carrying on very best and more of what we ever did. So I'm going to ask people to stand. We can hold your applause to the other. But I want to recognize John Chakowski, our TD. That this present staff and faculty have been so helpful in trying to organize and help support this event. So, Joel McKissick is our operations manager. Lindsay is our costume designer. Greg Giovanni is the director. Matt Carini, Emma Martins is like this immensely talented administrative assistant. Travis Newton is now the chair of the visual. And I know, is Sue here? Is Sue Wetzel in the house? Okay. Sue Wetzel is catering tonight. It's her last hurrah because they changed the contract with Moyne College. Sue Wetzel, the catering manager, is the person who organized and fed us throughout all those activities. Do I need these notes? Yes. So we've asked a couple of alumni to maybe share some words with us this evening. The first of whom is Elizabeth Donnelly. Yes. Who wants the microphone or not?
I do want a microphone.
Please come on.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we'll leave it on.
And I do need my notes. I also need a little stage drop because there's a very short list of humans for whom I would stand on stage and speak. A very short list. So just for moral support, I brought along. And if you don't like this, then you can take it up with him, okay? Now, I can't talk about Karel without getting a little bit erudite about stage design. But lucky for you, I can't keep up erudite for very long. When Karel designed his first set at the Firehouse, the Glass Menagerie, I was 12, and it blew my mind. That was the first inkling I had that a stage design could be more than just useful background, but as Ming-Cho Lee once said, a pure expression of the player. Then I saw Karel's Philemon, with faces and limbs emerging out of the darkness through ragged nets, and I realized the stage could be as dynamic as the actors. I mean, I was like 14, so actually my thoughts were something more like, I really want in on this. Okay, that was the erudite part. My first day working with Karel, this theatrical genius who had blown my mind, I was focused and anxious to please. He was doing his usual, cranking the talking heads, teaching me to use a screw gun, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Which, by the way, is the one thing that I learned in school that I still use every single day. It works for everything. It works for light bulbs, it works for peanut butter jars, dismantling nuclear warheads. Anyway, that day I was tense and anxious to please, and helping Karel put up scaffolding, when he suddenly asked me, how did I get here? And I was like, don't you know? But silently in my head, because back then I avoided private speaking almost as much as I avoid public speaking. And then he said something about me not being his beautiful wife in a totally conversational tone. Round about the third time that afternoon that he called out, "This is not my beautiful house." 10 seconds after David Byrne, or before David Byrne, sorry, I started to catch up. Working with Karel meant freedom to be off the wall, but also freedom full stop. He put a lot of trust in us. I mean, how many of you Firehouse alum had fake ID as well as a key to a place that had a table saw? Respect. That's what Katie taught me more than anything. Respect for the art of theater, respect for dangerous power tools, but most of all, respect for each other and our work. My favorite memory of him stems from another wild set. For Light in the Village, he turned the stage floor into a giant sandbox packed with dirt, which was great until rehearsals turned the dirt into a giant dust cloud. It turned out that the best solution was to wet this down every night after the audience finally cleared the building. And having worked in theater now, in professional theater, I know in a lot of theaters there would have been much moaning and crabbing about who was going to have to stay late to get this chore done. Karel and Bill, they brought out a couple lawn chairs, a beer cooler, and the two of them, Katie in one of his Hawaiian shirts, settled in every night around 11 p.m., the cranky I want to be at home now hour, to watch a lawn sprinkler water the set. Just exactly as if they were with their best bud in the backyard enjoying barbecue. And I thought, these guys have found it. That elusive thing so many people are looking for, the good life. And they showed us how it's done. Planning, attention to detail, yada yada, but mainly respect for one another. And seeing a chore not as something to crab about, but as a chance to have a hell of a good time with your best mate and or your favorite playlist. And that way, wherever you are, it is your beautiful house. Yesterday, I ended a week-long vacation where I spent the entire week biking and kayaking and swimming and hanging out with friends and family. And as I was reluctantly saying goodbye to the lake, I thought, this wasn't real life, Liz. This was special life, open to only a privileged sliver of humanity. How lucky was I, for all of us, to work with someone like Karel Blakeley, who makes real life feel like special life. We were a very privileged few. Karel, thank you for so many marvelous stage designs, but most especially, thank you for being you. Hilarious, generous, encouraging, respectful, reliable, open, and kind. Thank you for giving so many of us a first row seat to what a good life looks like. Anybody else want my...
We've also asked Gordy Boudreau to share with us a few words.
I'm going to use this. I don't have anything written here, but I'm just going to refer to it. I first met Bill Morris when he was working on his car. You were parked out behind the firehouse, and I just saw your feet. I think it was Jimmy D. Oliveira who took me over to the theater to meet you, because I was interested in theater, and I just saw your feet underneath your car. You were working on it. The first time I met Karel, he was dealing with a plumbing issue on the top floor of the firehouse. These were the derelict conditions under which we were some of the derelict conditions under which. And you know, as an actor, I guess that's why you're asking me to speak, is the actor's perspective of what Karel brought to the firehouse of the PAC. As an actor, you spend 2 weeks, however long it is, fretting about the lines and your blocking and your character and who am I doing this right? Do I feel like a fool during rehearsals? And I quickly learned that it wasn't until Karel unveiled his set that everything just fell into place. Every anxiety went away. This is the place where you dwelt. You wanted to inhabit it. It ended up inhabiting you, if that makes any sense. If you walk up to the second floor and you go down the hall and you see the framed pictures of Karel's sets, you want to eat them. Dude, the lighting and you want to live in that world. And Karel, you built a cathedral out of a matchbox every single time when we were at the firehouse. My friend Wes was in the first show I was ever in. It was Ladies Not for Burning. Michael Barber directed that one. And I remember all that anxiety I was talking about the first time as an actor. And the day that you showed us your set, I remember you running around it, and I was like, who is this kid? You're like on a playground, and you bring your son Dylan to play on these sets, and it was all about play. And I remember there was a bay window, right, with that little bench. And I remember you saying, you know, I've made these creative spaces that are affording themselves to your expression. And you did this thing where you put your knee up and you made this beautiful tableau of a man yearning and reaching out the window. And it changed everything for me. I thought, this is how a set is in the service to the actor and vice versa. It was just beautiful, and you did it every single time. You did it time and time again, which is remarkable. And anyway, I was talking with my friend Wes, and he was telling me about a moment in that show. And this is the other way your sets avail themselves. There was always a place behind his sets where you could feed someone else a line. Wes was a professional actor in town, and this was a script in which the lead actor had so many lines. We gave it to this local actor, Wes Holden, and there was a day when he totally went up on his lines, and he turned his back to the audience, and he was sweating. Mikey Motto was behind the wall, and he started feeding Wes a line, and Wes, he hears the line, and he turns on and goes, "And yet!" delivers the line, and wouldn't you know it, in the reviews the next day, Joan Vanderbancourt mentioned that moment as a remarkable instance of an actor showing the progress of thought. I don't know if I was the only poor, I wasn't that poor, but there were times I didn't have any money. Once I stopped living on the meal plan, I don't know how many times Karel brought some of the students that came after me to dinner at his home. It seemed every time I was working on a set, and I was an awful TD, every time I worked on a set, at the end of the day, he was like, "Do you want to come over for dinner?" So I also want to say thank you for the dinners you gave to poor college students here in Shirley. I tried to pay it forward, but I don't own that much macaroni. We love you, you're amazing.
Lovely, Gordy. You should see his show. Tyler Speraza will share a few remarks with us.
Don't blow it. Thanks, David. Best roommate ever, right there. All right, a room full of people love Karel Blakeley. We like metaphor. So KB could be the light that illuminates our stages and our minds. He's as chaotic as his prized collages. He is as stalwart and as trustworthy as a safety cable. He's the Roscoe 316 that bursts into a room and brightens your otherwise Roscoe 74 day, right? Like, we can do that all day. That's been sticking in my mind since Bill asked me to speak. How the hell am I going to sum up all the love, the admiration, the immense gratitude that I have for this man? And touring a show last week, and I'm tying these paper kites onto a bat, and my fingers are moving from muscle memory, and it hit. And it's an imperfect, but I hope a satisfying metaphor. Settled on a knot. Karel Blakeley is a clove hitch. Stick with me. It'll get there. He taught us all how to be clove hitches. He taught us to be first. It's the first knot you learn in stagecraft or intro. I walk into Admitted Students Weekend, "I'd like to do some theater, please." The first word out of that admissions counselor's mouth was Karel. Right? He is the first meeting most of us had in the PAC in my time. And what a meeting it was, right? Just like the clove hitch. He taught us in those first meetings to be friendly. It's easy. It's an easy knot. It's easy to talk to. It's easy to follow, easy to befriend, easy to fall in love with. It's easy. Except when you have that knot for class, because then that knot's really, really frustrating, right? So you need to contain multitudes, because you tie the knot, you get it over the batten, and you think you got it, and then it slips right through your fingers. You submit a white model the first time, then the rubric comes back, and oh man, those KB classes were a whole new ballgame, right? But he was clever, because he's setting you up, because once you get it, the true power of the clove hitch is revealed. See? Okay. It's strong. right? Who knew that this unassuming, bespectacled knot could carry so much weight on its shoulders? A clove holds up way more than a simple knot should, right? And so too does this man. For many of us at different times in our late teens and 20s, he held our entire worlds up. He held firm with us dangling above stage floors, dumb teens, reckless young adults, visions of production values far exceeding the budget and available time and money, and yet somehow he keeps us from falling flat on our faces. He kept the shows, the building, and for many of us, our entire emotional well-being aloft. And taught us something else, right? He taught us how to be flexible. A clove hitch can adroitly move from one assignment to the other. It unties and reties quickly at any and all angles. And it's so accommodating, yet always solid under any assignment. Right? Accommodating, like letting a certain rising senior who bit off more than he could chew spend 3 weeks in your house while doing all the work for your incomplete and scene design over the summer. Or spending nights, weekends, overnights, hours and hours blaring talking heads alone in a theater, painting and repainting the same masonite floor for 30 years because his colleagues and students dreamed up worlds that he brought to life with the stroke of a brush. Just did it. The designs are memorable. That man is even more so. So, like the clove, being memorable, right? Over, across, under, through. Easy. Muscle memory for many of us. Others who may be out of the game for a bit. It takes only one time, maybe two, before you remember how much you love the clove hitch. KB is in the business of making memories. Right? Memories to last entire lifetimes with people he's never met, or maybe he'll have a single encounter with. One of them that stick with me, it was deeply important, the lesson that he taught me in a matter of moments. Was after I left Moyne, we reunited, we went on a trip to a conference together in Chicago, and we're on a train, and the most normal interaction happens. A busker comes into the car, starts playing, right? Plays for a bit, starts to pass the hat. I do what most people on trains do. You look down, you pick up your phone, you try to not make eye contact, you just let the gentleman make his way through, and on his way, KB grabs a couple bills from his wallet, and he stops the man, asks him where he's from, when did he start playing music, how did he pick it up, where does he live? He made a connection with another human being, and is constantly reminding us to be present and open to those connections as we move through our lives. He is in the business of memories. He comes from a line of memory makers. The lessons that he learned from his dad, not just about theater, but about teachers turning into mentors, turning into friends. It holds true for all of us, and is the most important quality that he models, which is to be a unifier. He holds us together, he unites, he binds, he keeps the threads of our wayward, far-flung lives coming back here. And he knows firsthand the difference that reuniting can make in our lives because he went back, made regular trips to Ohio 30 years after leaving Lake Erie College to meet with his own theatrical mentor, because he knows what that means. You bring us back. You ask us to cherish the memories in the old photographs, right, the old playbills, to never forget the love that everyone in this room had for each other over 4 or 5 years. Yes, you are a clove hitch, but you are also one of the best human beings I've ever known. And you model a selflessness and love that all of us in this room will be striving to match for the rest of our lives. So thank you for keeping me aloft, holding all of us up when we need it the most. But untie yourself now, little clove hitch. Head down to Randolph with Shirley and relax, because we'll all be making appointments to come and visit. Love you.
I'm going to do that, which is a little bit different, right? Mixing it up. It's great to, thank you for allowing all of us to come together, right? So my experience with Karel is different than some of the alumni who've spoken because I'm not a theater guy, right? I'm a musician, I'm a conductor, I'm a violinist, and I came here as a little whippersnapper in 2005, almost 20 years ago. Yeah, right? Ouch. Math is hard sometimes. So my experience with Karel is less about theater and more about him as someone who helps everyone look beyond, right? So looking beyond theater for just a minute, when I first started here, Karel was transitioning into the role of department chair, which he did for 10 incredible years here in the department, as we were transitioning into a new way of operating as an academic department with a faculty chair, which was a new thing, lots of conversations, lots of disagreements. We eventually got to the point where we made the decision, and guess what? It was the right decision. Because Karel was the person to do it at that time. So, Karel, in his role as chair, has broadened the VPA in ways, visual and performing arts, in ways that I don't think any of us could have imagined. He has always been a huge supporter of the dance program, the LSDC, and the dancers. Yes, dancers? Yes. Thank you. And he and Shirley really helped move that along. Now we have a dance minor, we have many dance minors, we have students who are doing dance for academic credit. It's amazing. And the LSDC is still going very strong, you'll be happy to know. We also, in those early years, had lots of conversations about musical theater. Ugh. Who wants it, right? Christy, who wants it? I hear you up there. But you know, in all these conversations, Karel just listened. And he heard what the students were saying, and by God, we're now doing a musical every year. Just one, but it's great. Thank you. Arts administration, what the fuck is that? No one knows. I barely know. But we have it. There it is, arts admin. So when we first started having these conversations about arts administration, you know, the thing about arts admin, I know we have many arts administrators in the audience tonight, is that if you're doing it right, no one knows you're there, right? So it's not exactly a front and center kind of thing. But Karel, from day one, was very supportive of our conversations about a minor and a grad program and this and that and this guest speaker and these students, one of whom is here, started the Fringe and this happened. And so just from day one, he was supportive. As an artist, of course, visual art has always been very close to Karel. We've heard about his set painting tonight, and so he's always been incredibly supportive in terms of grant writing and equipment for the visual arts. And so in all of these things, it was all about sharing. It wasn't about this is for you and this is for you and theater gets this and you get that, and none of that. It was all collective. It was all collaborative, and that has really, I hope, continued in our department. Then COVID happened. Right? And so then Karel, as department chair, is having to figure out how the orchestra can rehearse online or outside or inside with the strings and the percussion only with a mask on and the winds and brass on Zoom because they can't wear a mask while they're playing. And then how do we socially distance and what spaces are we in? And that's just one ensemble. We have 6 or 7 ensembles. We have the dancers, we have theater, we have visual art. So it goes on and on and on. And so that, as we know, was incredibly destructive time for the arts. which are now rebuilding. We have thankfully been able to rebuild here, but it was only because of the time and energy that Karel put into all the planning all along. So thank you. So, continuing to looking beyond even our department. So as we look around the theater tonight, we have faculty here from chemistry, from English, sociology, history. We have librarians, we have people from the wellness center, we have biology, world languages, communication, creative writing. Did I miss anyone? The reason I'm listing all these departments and offices is that Karel has inspired all of us in the department to get out of the building, go across campus, and do things with other departments, other people, and be interdisciplinary. He's been teaching in the core, right? He's been on a million committees and renovated Gruen at least twice. Yeah, someday. He's also taught me a lot of things about working with administrators. We are very fortunate to have fantastic administrators here at Moyne. But one of the rules that he taught me is that, don't worry, administrators don't stay forever. They'll be gone someday. And we'll still be here. Hopefully. Another was that reminders are always good. Always remind those admitted. You know, they're busy. They need reminders. Don't be shy about reminders. Put it in writing, right? Always put it in writing. And finally, you know, modeling that persistent but polite approach when we're advocating for things is something that we have certainly gained from you. So thank you. And now moving beyond Moyne, I'm almost done. We are a small community, but Karel has always encouraged students to look beyond, right? Beyond the campus, through internships, through opportunities. He's been very active with USITT and setting up internships for students, going to internship fairs, taking students abroad. His Literary London class inspired many of us to do our own short-term study abroad courses. Matt Chiarini's taking 18 lovely Moyne students to Prague this coming week. Right? I'll be taking students to Edinburgh for the Fringe in August. Yes. And those are just a few examples of the moving beyond campus that Karel has inspired. Speaking of that, and speaking of Prague, this set was designed by our own very recent alum, Anna Marie Goosley. Designed and painted, and Anna Marie is actually hopping on a plane herself to Prague on Monday as one of 13 students chosen juried exhibition of design at the Prague Quadrennial in Prague next week. So, of course, Anna Marie, as many, if not all of you, benefited from the mentorship of Karel and all of our theater faculty. And she also, this past May, was the recipient of the very first ever Blakeley Beer Can Award at Gazelle. Yes, Cotillion is still happening. In fact, you might have noticed we're under some construction here, and as I was cleaning out, I found a Cotillion Bible from the 90s. Kendra, where are you? There you are. It said head bitches. Kendra, and who was the other person, Kendra?
Was it Stephanie Higgins or?
It might have been. Anyway, I found it. It's in a box somewhere. I'll get it to you. Cotillion is still happening, and we now have a Blakeley Beer Can Award. So, most importantly, I think for me, and I'm sure for many of you, Karel has encouraged us to look beyond ourselves, to get out of our own kind of stuff and look beyond. So, thank you.
My turn. I'm going to get, because I'm old, see, I'm going to get historical. So I started at Moyne College all by my little self.
Without a typewriter.
Without a typewriter. In a garage. And, oh my God, what am I going to do? Right? So I directed a play and I designed it, okay? First, There's the importance of being earnest. But
it was a beautiful set.
oh, yeah. But before coming to Lemoyne, I worked at Syracuse Stage, and for several years. And I noticed this graduate student there, a guy named Karel Blakeley, right? Who I kind of knew his work a bit, and I thought, this kid maybe hang it. And then I in my arrogance, decided we're going to do William's Glass Menagerie, okay? And I get in touch with this kid Blakeley, and I said, would you come up and design the set? We have $5. And he did. In this garage with nothing. Right? So that was great. And then he graduated, he got his grad degree, right? And off he went to Arena Stage in Buffalo as the props master. In the interim, I did find a guy who, could screw nails or That's what he did. But I knew Karel was out there. So I called him up, and it turns out he wasn't liking that job as prop master that much. And I said, okay, we can pay you 50 cents a week, I think, if I can get that from this college. And would you think about coming back and being TD and designer, right? So he did. And I'm blanking on the very next show we did together. No, it was 12th Night. Yeah. We set it on the Adriatic Sea on a boardwalk with sand in front, etc., etc., and it was gorgeous and beautiful. So we got through that, and then I remember asking Karel Blakeley, okay, man, will you stay? And he said this to me. He said, oh, Bill, I'm not a designer. I remember it clearly. And I do clearly remember looking Karel right in the eyes and saying, yes, you are. And that's kind of how it started. Now, I'll also tell you this, that way back there in 1983 or so, this confident educator, administrator, and teacher was not that. He was as shy a guy that you've ever met, the most unassuming, the most intimidated by people like full professors. The very idea of going to a faculty meeting or participating in a faculty conference or committee, no. I'll just stay here in the firehouse and do my thing, which he did. And then, of course, everything changed, as we know. Okay, this is a real personal story. 87, something like that. I got divorced. Not good. It's not fun. Not a good thing at all. Right? And being the gentleman I was then, I said to my former wife, okay, you got the house. And then I realized I'm homeless.
And I spent, I don't know, in my memory, a few nights on a basement couch of a buddy of mine. And then Blakeley, who had a flat on Niven Street, said, well, why don't you come over here? I got an extra bedroom. And I thought, well, good man, thanks. And then things went on for months. And Leslie came over. Karel met Shirley. My son would come on, the thing, alternate weekends and shit, right? But it was Karel Blakeley's generosity, overwhelming generosity, to invite me into his own home when I needed it, that I'll never forget as who he is, the kind of man who can do that and sustain it even when it gets difficult and hard. It wasn't difficult living together, but we did it. And what kind of person has that magnanimity, that generosity, that open heart? And for what? 33 years he was my colleague, my dear friend, and I'm going to get teary, so I can stop talking soon. And now I'm going to ask if Karel Blakeley would share a word or two with us.
So, acting was always a part of my love of theater. My dad put me on the stage when I was very young. Those plays like Trojan Women where they needed to chop a child off. And I was told later that I was a really good dead kid laying on. But, yeah, it's a challenge to memorize lines and play that. But I tend to digress and drift, as you know, from our time in the classroom, and I sometimes stumble over words when I'm thinking about, the tool, the thing with the, get one of those who's a what? Kevin, can you do it? There you are.
The hooky dookie that goes with the swappity thing?
There was a thing where Kevin came on stage and he did me beautifully. Thank you. I'm so proud. But I know I'm the thing standing between you and more socializing in that bar that's out there. That's Robin Williams right there. Or at least the bathroom. I won't be, I won't, that's okay. If you need to step out, that's okay. I'll sit here a while. So I wrote some things down, and I wrote an awfully lot, and I edited it and changed it, and so I'm going to boil it down to a few things, and I'm going to read from this, because I'll drift with my words, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just say how amazing this is. There are so many people here from across the years with the common bond of theater at Moyne who have come together tonight. And many of you have traveled, well, many of you are close, and that's great. Thank you for staying close to Moyne and us and our community. But I know many of you have also traveled a great distance, coming from LA and San Francisco, oh my God, you had to take a packet boat freaking canal to get here today. Oh my God. And Phoenix, I mean, those just to name a few. So, what I want to do is try to capture this moment and sear it into my brain and my memory, because you guys mean so very much to me. Take a picture. Okay, I gotta do it smart. Guys, there are so many people I want to thank this evening, but it'll start to sound like I'm at the Academy Awards and stuff. Thank my mom and my dad, everybody. But nevertheless, I really want to say thank you to Bill Morris for leading the pack to make this celebration a reality. See what I just did there? Leading the pack. Some of you older alums might not know what the pack is. It's a performing arts center, and the kids who hang out here are pack rats.
We had rats in the firehouse too.
Probably remember, I was working on setting up a big theater reunion. I was going to call it Theater 2020. 20 years in the firehouse, 20 years in the Performing Arts Center, and what year? 2020.
Perfect.
What do you think happened? And it just took all the air out of my sails, and that was that. So, but Bill, bless your heart, you picked up all the pieces, and in tandem with folks in the alumni office and everybody here working in the PAC, you made all of this happen. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you now, let's give it up to our very own Fire Chief, Bill Moyne. To thank all of you for attending. Oh my God, you keep standing up, but that probably gets the blood circulating. Thank you so much for stopping what you're doing. Wow, and to be here and join in these festivities. And happily, golly, I'm just smiling inside and out. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you. This means so very much. Oh God, it's incredible to see you. I feel like we ought to have like a wedding reception line. The way the Queen used to do it at those teas. Say hi to each of you. Oh, golly. And of course, there's so much that I want to say, but I'm going to keep this mercifully short. I've been pondering a lot of things since making the decision to retire from Moyne. It wasn't an easy decision. And above all, I've been wondering how to measure my success. I mean, I didn't work in the professional theater. I didn't design on Broadway.
You're better than all of them.
Didn't win a lot of awards. There was assault for the, are you ready for this? Because they couldn't quite decide what to call it. The non-performer of the year. Didn't
get into one.
Should those be the gauges of success? And then I remembered a poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson that I had pinned up on my bulletin board in the office. I think it might have even gone up in the firehouse, and then I moved it here. And I'd like to read it to you now. Emerson wrote, "What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." Looking out at all of you and looking back on the theatrical experiences that we've shared over the years, I'm truly thankful for our success story. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for being a part of the rich tapestry of theater at Moyne. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the party.
Okay, we just have a couple of announcements about the evening. Karel,
What?
that was fucking beautiful.
Hey everybody. So if you didn't think my speech was the best, that's okay. See what you think when you find out I have an envelope full of drink tickets. Okay. So, a couple of quick announcements. First of all, I have drink tickets. Come up and see me when we're done here if you want one or two. And then secondly, we do have the opportunity to walk over to the firehouse. This was like a negotiation, okay? Because the firehouse is under, some renovation. There's our costumes are all being stored there at the moment. It's there and it's great, and we're happy to have you walk through it. Probably what I would recommend is that you go and get another drink if you want it, and then in about, let's say about 1:45, we meet out front for whoever wants to walk over. Raise your hand if you think you might want to walk over to the, okay, Jesus Christ! So we'll meet out front in a little bit. We'll walk over there, I'll turn the lights on, and you can just have your way with it. How's that? There's no security cameras in here, I don't think. Okay.
Again, my thanks for all your attendance coming here. Bloody awesome. As Travis said, the bar's going to be open, have a drink, blah, blah, blah. I urge all of you who haven't been around these tables, okay? They're dripping with nostalgia, and opportunities. Moyne College has done a lot of work about creating. whole lot of posters that we got to get rid of that we want you to take, okay? So please don't feel shy about that. And if you'd like to leave a note for Karel Blakeley, that's available here. Okay. Again, everyone, thanks so much for coming. Have a great rest of the evening, okay? Cheers all.